Hi everybody, Lath from Wineberry Hill. For many years, my go-to method for installing chicken wire and hardware cloth has been a staple gun. And I suspect that that's probably the case for most of us. However, I think we all recognize that hardware cloth and poultry wire tends to be kind of expensive, and it almost always lasts much longer than the thing that we're stapling it to. And so as a result, when it's time to remodel or remove that chicken wire, either the staples don't hold very well and you have to keep stapling, or they hold too well and you have to distort and tear that hardware cloth or chicken wire to get it off of whatever it is that you stapled it to. In this video, I'm going to show you two methods for installing hardware cloth or poultry wire that holds it better and keeps it in pristine condition so that you can reuse it over and over. Here's method one. My favorite method for securing hardware cloth is washers and screws. And it works equally well with poultry wire. And I like to use this especially with enclosures that I'm building. Think anything that you would protect a chicken with, or perhaps a rabbit hutch. This method holds the wire perfectly well, and then when the time comes for you to remodel or repair or replace, you simply back the screws out and the wire is in perfect condition. Okay, so that's method one. Let's take a look at method two. I make a lot of garden structures on my property, and typically I use these structures to protect animals and plants. And the second method that I use to install chicken wire or hardware cloth on structures like this is zip ties, especially for plants. Now, the zip ties that you get need to be either UV resistant or UV stabilized so that they don't break down when the sun comes in contact with them. And this makes it possible for you to have your wire reusable kind of indefinitely. In fact, this wire I know is 15 years old at least. Now, if you're going to be using it for animal enclosures, say rabbits, chickens, things like that, then I would recommend that you use stainless steel zip ties. And I'll leave a link in the description for you to find those. Now, while we're talking about zip ties, I'm going to give you two more methods that are indispensable for me around the farm or the garden. One way that I regularly use zip ties here is to terminate the ends of drip irrigation hoses. Now, you can use these little termination tools where you fold the hose back on itself and it holds it in a kink. But these cost money, whereas zip ties are considerably less expensive, and honestly, I think they look better. And so I use them to terminate all of my drip irrigation. You just need to make sure that you're leaving yourself enough room. So you need to have a little bit extra hose kinked back, about 2.5 inches, so that it holds it well and doesn't accidentally get kicked off when the pressure on the line goes up. Okay, so using them in the greenhouse on drip irrigation. And lastly, I use zip ties with my chickens. I use different colored zip ties to identify my chickens. This is especially useful when your breed makes your chickens all look the same. I simply wait until the chicken has kind of grown into their legs, and I loosely apply one of these bracelets to their ankle. I found that they tolerate them very well, and it's a great way to keep track of who is doing what. If you have a chicken that you're worried that it's getting sick or it has a behavior issue, you can identify that chicken very easily over time. So that's another way that I use zip ties here on the property. I'm curious about your situation. What methods do you use for either installing hardware cloth and poultry wire, or what other uses do you have for zip ties around the property? As always, your comments and all that YouTube stuff makes this channel possible. And if you like this video, you might like these.